Okay, remember that they're changing my voice. Okay, so when we look at the pictures on the screen, we see a picture of me when I was younger that they've edited to make it look like fairy-like, like the surreal fairy pictures you see in various churches, Catholic churches, Protestants to some degree, what have you. And it's similar to the animation depiction of a later form of Horus, which is a fake form of Horus, right? There's one true form, that's the original, okay? And it is a Royal African Falcon martial art form. I think that the simplest way to define Horus is it comes from, black Africans, and then at some point there's mixtures of people. God made it so that if people mix in a certain way in the divine order, that they are breeding more rapidly toward God, is what the evidence shows us. As I compare my traits to people in my family, great people, a lot of them brilliant people, right? It's clear to me that being mulatto is a superior genetic state to being one race, okay? Especially, and depending on how it is, right? If your dad's a bad guy, whether he's black or white or whatever, and he mixes with a bad person, then it might not be superior, okay? So I don't want people to take me out of context there. You know what, I gotta fuck these motherfuckers. I gotta think about taking this video down now or redoing it, because they might see that as racist, as stupid as it is, right? So I think this is what I'm going to do here. I'm going to just go ahead and finish this video here, and then I'm going to make another part in case this part is taken down. Okay. So to make a long story short, the Superman, you see the evidence there from two different descriptions, that it's understood in popular culture that this idea must be fake, and it's understood by people who have done research, generally, that this idea is superimposed on Horus. The idea of Horus, the hero, son of God. Heroes in ancient Greek dialect or something is what I was reading, means master, and is a root term for Hera, who's not really a hero. Okay, obviously. Hera, Ashura pole as Hera. And that's the mother goddess, right, of the devil, is Ashura. Okay? She's called the Queen of Heaven. Hera is called the Queen of the Gods, right? And then that came over through the Catholic Church, the Roman Catholic Church, right? Greco-Roman, Hera, and the Roman counterpart of Hera is Juno, the Capitoline Mint, right? The money. You get all these prostitutes. Hera is more of a deity of prostitutes and Aphrodite, is at least in many ways, because she defines the quote-unquote so-called ideal, woman, female, really, this female never grew up some childish worm, as a prostitute, because she is a deity of the mint, and she married, she sets the stage for females to marry based on social status and money, which is fucking pathetic. I mean, there's no words for how much God despises the perverse in heart. It's even there in Proverbs. There's no words for how much I despise the culture of dating for money and mere social status. That is so damn shallow. I remember being a kid, and those little girls who would say, why would I date based on money? That's shallow, that's stupid. Little girls who were pissed off at the thought that some even a little girl would do that, much less a grown adult, a so-called grown adult, an older person, someone who's legally an adult. When I see how females don't get that, how they're so easy to coerce by the state, they're so easily tricked into being a gold digger, it is infuriating. When you see how psychology is designed to trick them, and it's not very hard to trick them, it's very disturbing. We see the catastrophic failure of society. People failing to man up, and they take on a Greco-Roman culture, and here comes the Hera and the Aphrodite of the world. Athena, even as much as people they try to assign her respect because, they associate with being a smart female or something. She was petty. She was cruel. She's a deity of females who try to use intelligence. Like, you might work for the FBI. You might, work at Stanford. You might, wherever, some group that's associated with intelligence. You might be a software engineer. But that doesn't mean you're wise. It doesn't mean you're truly smart. That means you're book smart. So Athena is like a deity for the book smart and people who pretend to be smart in Greco-Roman culture, and not a woman who really has wisdom and intelligence, right? Because fearing the Lord is part of what it takes to be wise and really smart. Smart is a universal word. For example, if somebody was a Stanford professor and they didn't know what a stop sign was, you'd be like, you're stupid, you don't know what a stop sign. How have you been driving all this time? I don't know, right? You'd be like, you're dumb. They wouldn't say, hey, I'm not going to say you're dumb because you're a Stanford professor, because if it's universal, something that everyone from every walk of life, given a certain exposure to something, should know, okay, without sabotage, without being targeted, then you say, hey, that person couldn't be smart. So everyone should know not to reject the most righteous guy that ever lived. Everyone should know to not betray God, to not be a worm. They should know to put God first. And if they don't, they're stupid. Doesn't matter if you have 10 PhDs. Doesn't matter if there's a consensus among academia that you're smart. If you don't put God first, you are dumber than a doorknob. Now again, I'm going to make this video twice. Let me just make this quickly here. So it says that Horus is also known as Kemwer. Okay, that won a lot of. I didn't hear it until I seen that particular argument. I don't know if they're right about that or not. It might be a black supremacist argument. Okay, but I do know that they're right about one thing. They're right to say it in a sense, at least, because in the word Kemwer we have, we have Kem, we have Emek, which is almost part of my name, which was what my name was shortened to, Emeka, right? We have Emek without the A, and then with the WR. And we see in Egyptian culture and how they describe it in popular culture where, Set could be written as ST, and you could say his name is Sit or Sut or Sutek or Suti, right? So they add various vowels. So when you get the WR after the Emek, you can add the A. So you get Emek War, or you can add the A and the E, right? You get the Emek War, and you take or you can add two A's, right? Excuse me. You get Emek War, and then the second A goes back to the Emek. You get Emeka, and then you get War. And of course, Horus is a deity of war, so it's referring to Emeka, just like Michael has my name scrambled in it. Okay, Emeka. Okay, with the vowels interchangeable and the C instead of the K. Emeka El meaning Lord, or the L is a phallic symbol pointing up as a penis. You can look at it a lot of ways. Not mentally L. You got to interpret it correctly. Micah is similar to my name. You add the A, right? You get Emeka, Emika, Emika, what have you. So you see that I am Christ. And Michael is a part of me, is an angel that's an angel that's, serving me, and that's in my spirit. There's an angle of me. Okay. And so you see the connection there. And notice in this picture, before I forget, that was like the main reason I put the picture, right? Because we're talking a lot about romance and the cults and the Hollywood and the so-called Hollywood of the scoundrel ass, sex cult rapists who are killing everybody, raping everyone. No matter what people you're from, they killed countless of your people, raped them, coerced them. They're doing it right now. Okay, they're scum. If you don't hate them, you're bad shit, crazy, fucking nuts. Like, why would you not hate them? Are you that far gone? Okay. So it says that, that she says, can I get someone better? And of course, in the Superman context, you can, right? This clown with his underpants on the outside, right? He's some kind of privileged white, Greek, Jew, whatever the hell he is, right? He's some kind of privileged worm who's making a mockery of being a hero. Yeah, she can get better than that bitch ass motherfucker. I mean, give me a break here, right? Has a cape on. Incidentally, in the movies, at least, Romans were wearing capes, right? And that's, red capes and everything. And okay. But when you look at it as it's superimposed on Christ, can any female do better than Christ? No. And you see how it comes together there. And Horus, in his true form, is Christ, is the Son of God. Horus means hero, means the falcon son. The falcon, the hawk, also referred to as a hawk. The hawk is the symbol of wisdom in Job. His hawk spreads his wings by God's wisdom, thus becoming a symbol of wisdom, thus conveying wisdom. You see what I'm saying? As opposed to the jackal, who's seen as a cursed and detestable, unclean animal in the Bible and in Egyptian mythology. And it's not a coincidence that the word Egypt, I'm told, is in the Bible more than the word Israel. And the people of Egypt are also called the people of God, and the people of Cush, which very much influenced Egypt, are said to be the same as the Israelites, Amos 9:7, what have you. So as we look at this thing, it is impossible to be of sane mentality, be of sound mind, and to think that an attractive female in an invalid marriage, or who's single, who's not in my family, should be allowed to reject me, because it shows that she is not smart enough to consent. For example, if a female spends all of her time having sex with animals, okay, and someone asks her on a date, you're like, look, that bitch crazy. If she's fucking crazy, how's she smart enough to consent? I've seen women who are drunk as shit have more judgment with dating than a female who's crazier than fucking shit. If a female is crazy enough to reject Christ, especially if he's not white, when the white man's your oppressor, especially when he's not Jewish and the Jewish people are among your main oppressors, okay, why the fuck would you reject him? That's fucking insane. If you were the children of Abraham, you would do what he did, and he didn't hesitate to be willing to risk his family's life, to execute him himself if he had to. And that's what's called being sane, having your priorities straight. You put righteousness over the flesh of your family. If you don't, you're a sick puppy who's not smart enough to consent. That's why it's called consent in the construct, where con men use false senses of confidence, false sense of security, false sense of confidence to get a conned-ass, trick-ass bitch, a trick who's been tricked, to consent to having sex with some bitch-ass motherfuckers. Now, can you imagine I explain this to a bunch of feminists? Some of them have more self-respect than others. They'll say, look, he's right, bitch. Shut the fuck up, he's right. And some no. And that's the nature of society. But how many of them would stop everything and obey God through me? Who, what, when, where, how, why?